Hello guys and welcome back to my channel. Today is another video in the university series and it is what I wish I had known about Freshers Week, because there is a lot. I'm going to split this video into three main sections. The first section is going to be about clubbing and going out and general events throughout the whole week. The second section will be on meeting people and on Freshers Fair, and the third section will just be answering your questions and giving any general advice. So let's get into the video. A lot of the questions that I received were based on going out and clubbing, and it is obviously the main thing that people think about when they think of Freshers Week. They think about everyone getting absolutely smashed every single night of the week, everyone going out to the clubs, everyone spending a lot of money, everyone just getting ridiculously drunk and having a great time. That can definitely be the case at university, but you don't necessarily have to have that experience if you don't want to. So something that is incredibly important for Freshers Week and just university in general is before you go making sure that you have the most up-to-date MMR vaccination, because it's very important. You're going to be around so many new people, a completely different environment. There are going to be germs spread everywhere. It is very often the case that mumps can spread around university, as can meningitis. So make sure that you have the MMR vaccination and your meningitis vaccination, because those two are very, very, very important and they can be fatal if you do catch that and you don't have the vaccination. Especially at Oxford, from experience, I know that there were outbreaks of mumps at several different colleges throughout my entire 3 years at Oxford. So just make sure you have your MMR vaccination, because you do not want to get mumps. Make sure you are looking after yourself in Freshers Week. You know, it is weird. Freshers Week, you are thrown in the deep end with a complete bunch of strangers who you then start getting drunk with and then going out, and it is very weird. It's a very weird concept that you're going to get drunk with people you literally don't even know. So just make sure that you are looking after yourself, that you are being careful and you are being safe. I would say in your flat or in your halls or in your college or wherever you are, maybe buddy up with someone so that you have someone to go home with and someone you can just stay with for the rest of the night and not get lost or separated from other people in the group. Make sure that you're not ever sharing your drink with anyone, and you're definitely, most definitely not leaving your drink on the side and then going to pick it up again later, because you don't know what's going to happen to that drink. Someone could spike you have no idea. So make sure you always have your drink on you. I remember I would take my drinks into the toilet. I do that anyway, but you can never know, you can never be sure. So always keep your drink with you and never share your drink with strangers. Also, make sure you're being safe in that you know your limits with alcohol. For some people, it's their first time ever being away from their parents and they finally have this new sense of freedom and they have never really drunk before and they completely go ham with the alcohol. They get themselves into really tricky situations where they are too far gone, they are out of control, they don't really know what's going on, and you definitely don't want to get that far, because that's just not good for anyone. It also means that your flatmates, if they're nice people, will have to look after you, and it's just putting yourself in a very dangerous, vulnerable situation, and I wouldn't want you guys to do that. So make sure if you are going to be drinking, know your limits, know when to stop. Remember that you are around strangers, people you literally don't know. You don't know if you can trust them. I'd hope that they'd want to look after you, but you still don't know, and you don't want to be in clubs and outside in the streets completely unaware of what's going on or not being able to control yourself. So please do be aware of that. If it is your first time drinking, take it very easy. Only have one drink and then just, you know, see how it goes. But do be careful with that. I would also say, if you're going out, if you're planning to go out on a night out, please make sure that you eat something before you go. Do not drink on an empty stomach, because it's just not good. It's just not good. You'll probably most likely end up vomiting or feeling very sick and unwell, and it's just not worth it. Make sure you're eating something so that you're lining your stomach and you're being sensible. Also, make sure that you're staying hydrated. So for example, I don't really go out anymore, but when I did go out, I always used to drink a bottle of water before I even started drinking alcohol. Then when I would come home, I'd always drink, or at least try to remember to drink, a glass of water before I went to bed. And that really, really helps so that when you wake up, you don't feel as bad. Hangovers are a thing. I never experienced a hangover. Make sure you are staying hydrated, because I know hydration can really help with the after effects. Freshers flu is a thing. You might be lucky enough to not get it, but that is probably very unlikely. Chances are you're going to get freshers flu at some point. Even if it's not in Freshers Week, you might get it later on in term, because it is a virus that is going around and affecting everybody, and you will definitely hear a lot of coughing in your first week of lectures. I had Freshers flu for quite a long time, and that is mainly due to the fact that I wasn't looking after myself properly. I wasn't necessarily getting enough sleep. I didn't take with me the right things to recover and to prevent myself from getting Freshers flu in the first place. So what I would definitely recommend taking is a lot of different types of medication, things like paracetamol, ibuprofen. I would definitely recommend taking Lemsip and Strepsils, and also vitamin C. If you're having vitamin C, then that is going to really help your immune system. I would also say tea, drink a lot of tea. Lemon and ginger tea is so good when you're not feeling well. Also, when I say look after yourself, I do mean that just because everyone else, or it might seem as though everyone else is going out every single night, going clubbing and drinking, that doesn't mean that you have to go and do that. And I know that there's FOMO. You might feel as though you're not going to make any friends just because you don't follow along with them, lose out on that crucial time to make friends. But that is not true. You don't need to do that. If your body is telling you to rest, then just rest. There are going to be other people in your halls or in your college who also don't want to go out, because clubbing is exhausting. It is so exhausting. It's fun, but it's exhausting. And also, if that's just not your thing, then why should you force yourself to do something that you don't want to do and that you don't like doing just to fit in, when in these 3 years at university you need to, you know, you're learning to be yourself. And maybe this is the first time for you as well, coming out of school, that you have the chance to just be who you are, and you shouldn't be judged for that. If you don't like clubbing, or if you don't like drinking or doing those kinds of things, then you shouldn't be forcing yourself to do that when it's not you. I remember in my freshers week, I went out the Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday and Friday, and then I had Saturday off, and then went out on Sunday for the bop. So in my college, a lot of people just took Saturday off and we chilled. It was fine. And there were lots of people in my year as well who didn't even go clubbing. There is definitely other alternative activities. Your university should be providing them. Is it easy to avoid all the drinking and partying if you don't like those kind of things and still make friends? What's it like if you don't drink, go clubbing? Are there things you can do? Things to do in the evenings that don't involve spending life savings on alcohol. Clubbing. Can't drink due to medical issues but still like clubbing. Worry this is an issue in prees. How to socialize if you don't drink, don't like clubbing. So there's just a lot of various different questions about that. I would say that it's not difficult to make friends if you don't like drinking or if you don't like clubbing. What my advice to you would be is, first of all, so if you don't drink but you do like clubbing, then go to prees. If you don't drink but you still want to get involved in the nightlife, you still want to go out, people shouldn't judge you at prees if you don't drink. You're an adult, you have your own reasons why you might not drink. I'm now pretty much teetotal, and when I say that to people, to be honest with you, I'm going to be really raw and honest. I've seen a lot of other YouTubers who've done similar videos and they've been like, oh, it doesn't matter if you don't drink, oh, like, it's absolutely fine. It is fine, it is absolutely fine, but I am going to say to you, there are, you know, you are going to be in an environment, at least at first, where there are going to be some people who will look at you weirdly and think, why don't you drink, or ask you why. That's not just people at university, like everywhere you go, if you say that you are going to get that pause and like a weird look at you, but then they accept that because they shouldn't judge you for your choice of not wanting to drink. Yeah, you might be judged on first impressions, but that's going to change when they actually get to know who you are. And if they do just blow you off immediately and kind of don't want to make an effort with you because you don't drink, then you don't want that kind of person as your friend. So yeah, if you do like the nightlife and stuff but you don't drink, get involved at prees, just chat with people, have your drink, just have like some lemonade. At the end of the day, you can still have a good time in a club without drinking, right? And if you do like the nightlife, and just because you don't drink, you can still go clubbing and you still have a good time. Chances are that people you're going clubbing with are going to be too drunk to even realize that you're not drinking, so it really doesn't matter. But on the flip side, if you don't drink and you don't like clubbing and you're worried about the social side of things during Freshers Week, I would say yes, there are lots of events for non-drinkers and other alternatives. So my college, they organised ice skating one night, a movie night one night. There are lots of different things going on, and there will be other people who are in the same situation as you, who don't like drinking and who don't want to drink, or who just don't like clubbing and don't want to go. So don't be afraid, there will be other alternatives. And if you find yourself feeling really lonely, go to the people who organise Freshers Week. Ask them, you know, are there any events on? Is there anyone else you've spoken to who's said that they don't want to go clubbing and have asked if there's anything else? And maybe you'll end up finding yourself with a little group of people, and go and attend those events which are alternatives, because as nerve-wracking as it can be in general during Freshers Week, if you don't go and turn up to these events, you're not going to make friends. Okay, now the section on meeting people and Freshers Fair. I got a question. I'm worried I'll give a wrong impression / be too eager when it comes to making friends. And getting past the basic 1, your name, 2, your course, 3, where you're from combo. How to not feel awkward with new people, e.g. in student halls. So I'm not gonna lie to you guys, it is awkward, and I was thinking about how I was going to answer this question, because to be honest with you guys, it is the very basic, what's your name, what subject are you doing, where are you from? Like that is usually what it is. Or at Oxford, if you're going to Oxford, be prepared to expect the question, what school did you go to? Which is a question that I absolutely hate, because why should you be judged on what school you went to? But it is a thing in Freshers Week, because I definitely got asked that a lot of times. It is kind of awkward to get past those initial questions. And I was even thinking about like, what did I even do when I was in that situation? Everyone is in the same boat, so if it does start getting awkward, then just move on and go and speak to someone else. You can think of like inventive questions to ask them. So for example, at Oxford, I might ask them, oh, so why did you choose New College? Or I might ask like, oh, so do you know anyone else here? Oh, what's your room like? Just like general questions like that. Or if it does just get really awkward, just say, oh, I'm just gonna go to the toilet now, and go and pop to the toilet. It is weird, it is awkward. I know this is a really bad answer, so I do apologize, but at the time you'll be able to see if you will click or gel with someone. I remember that the people that I did end up speaking to quite a lot or didn't find it awkward, conversation would flow. At the end of the day, conversations are going to be awkward at first. They are going to be with everyone, but you will find your people eventually. Just no matter how awkward and intimidated and anxious you feel or nervous, just go and speak to lots of people, lots of different people, join in conversations, join groups of people. Introduce yourself, ask them how they are, then you'll make your friends. I'm worried I'll give the wrong impression, be too eager. Yeah, girl, I felt the same, because I was very much like, oh, can I have your number? Oh, let's like exchange Facebooks. That's another thing that you can do if you feel too awkward. You can say, oh, by the way, what's your Facebook? Let me add you. And then boom, then you can leave the conversation and go and meet someone else, but then you've added them on Facebook already. Do you know what I mean? So if that's who you are, that's who you are. You know, if someone is going to be taken aback by it and judge you on it, then again, that's not someone you want. You need someone who has the same energy as you, someone who's going to really appreciate that you want to put effort into friendships. And how to not feel awkward. I think you gotta fake the confidence. You know, everyone is gonna feel awkward at first. Like, it is an awkward situation. You are being thrown into a room full of strangers. Put a smile on your face and go out and introduce yourself. Now onto Freshers Fair. Your university will hold a massive Freshers Fair full of all the societies and clubs that you can join, and there'll be lots of other local companies like Domino's or Nando's are also there. Mainly, Freshers Fair is for you to get a taste of what clubs and societies are on offer, and it can be incredibly overwhelming because there are so many hundreds of societies. You pass through room after room after room full of loads of different things, whether it's sport or business or subject specific things or other related activities. And my advice would be to grab as much free stuff as you can, because it's Freshers Week and they're giving away a lot of stuff. That's my first piece of advice. My second piece of advice is, if there's something that catches your eye, you see something and you're like, oh my god, that society sounds really cool, what do they do? Go over and speak to the student representatives, because they're there to try and sell you their society. So don't be afraid to go over and speak to them, ask them what it is, or just don't be afraid to sign yourself up for things, because even if you don't end up joining, if you sign yourself up there at Freshers Fair, it just means you're signing up to their mailing list. So I would say just sign up to any society that interests you. You will not regret it. Societies and clubs are the best way to get to know people outside of your immediate halls, college, student accommodation, whatever it is. And it's just so refreshing to get to know people who will have the same interests as you, because you have that common ground, but B, are not directly in your immediate area or your immediate kind of day-to-day people that you'll see. It's just a very nice way to get involved. What better way to do it as a fresher? Like, that is one thing that I would say a big piece of advice is, if you want to get involved with something, do it right from the start, because you will not regret it. You'll get your foot in the door as a first year, and it's a great way to making new friends as well. So another aspect that I had quite a few questions about was about money. One question was, spill the tea on creating a student bank account during Freshers Week, an Ox vlog vid. Some people have told me that the Santander branch in Oxford is near Oxford Brookes. Now, I do have a Santander student account and I would highly recommend them. For some reason, some people have given me the impression that you need to go and open your student bank account during Freshers Week. Now, I didn't do that. I went and opened up my student bank account before I even arrived at university. I just opened it in my local branch. They didn't seem to have any problem with that. I went in and took my UCAS certificate as proof that I was going to university, and then they just opened it up right then and there. If you're having issues, apparently you can now open a student account online. So I definitely recommend doing that before you arrive, because Freshers Week is so hectic anyway. You don't want to be doing small little admin tasks when it's just so hectic. You're meeting new people, you've got all these talks that you have to go to and workshops, as well as then deciding if you want to go out clubbing or going to other events that can leave you really exhausted and tired and hungover the next day. So you really don't want to be doing those kinds of things beforehand, and ideally you'd like to have it set up so that your student finance can hit your student bank account. Another general issue that was raised was people being worried that they'll spend all their money in Freshers Week. I'm going to do a very specific, my budgeting tips and my money saving hacks for university, which should come within the next 2 weeks, so look out for that. This is a big worry, I know, of a lot of people, especially when student finance hits and you're like, oh my god, I have so much money in my bank account, wow, I can afford this, I can afford that, let me get an Uber here, let me get a takeaway, let me get this, let me get that. No, calm down. My piece of advice is this: First of all, go and watch my How to Budget at University video, and that will give you a free budgeting spreadsheet that you can download, and you can calculate how much you should be budgeting for every week. But again, I said in that video that Freshers Week, you might want to put some of your own money towards that week, or allocate a bit more money to Freshers Week, because it is such an expensive week. Just for anyone, regardless of if you go out or not, Freshers Week always will be the most expensive week, because you're going around running around buying things that you forgot to bring from home. Now, you have that budget, but then you have your bank account, which has a lot of money in it. How do you make sure that you actually stick to the budget that you've allocated for Freshers Week and not go over it and spend all this big, large sum of money in your bank account? Well, my friends, I have a solution. One person suggested getting your parents on board, if your parents are willing to do it, where your parents will look after all your money and your student finance and would give you money per week or per month for you to then budget yourself. That's a fairly good idea, but I think it's better for you to just be financially independent and learn to budget yourself without having your parents look after your money for you. So what I suggest is, there are two ways. The first way is the best and most convenient way. It is going to require you to open another bank account, but it is worth it, I promise. So you're gonna have your student bank account card. For me, that's my Santander student bank account card. Then you're gonna have a Monzo bank account card. If you don't already have Monzo, get on it. I will leave a link in the description box below for you to get a free £5 if you sign up to Monzo. You're gonna have your Monzo card. If you have a Monzo card already, then you're part of the club already. You're gonna have your student bank account card and your Monzo card. What you're going to do is, you are going to transfer the allocated amount of money that you have for Freshers Week onto your Monzo card, right? Your Monzo card. And I'm gonna talk about the Monzo card in more detail in my budgeting video, but the Monzo card is going to be the card that you take out with you. So you're not going to be using your student bank account card, which has all of your money on it. You're going to be using your Monzo card. And you're not going to be tempted to put more money on the Monzo card. No. But not just for Freshers Week, you can do this for the rest of the year. That is the first option of making sure that you stick to your budget. The second option is the budget that you've allocated to yourself. Literally go and take that money out in cash, and then only use cash during Freshers Week. A bit more inconvenient because it can be a lot of money, but that is another way. And I would suggest doing that for club nights so that you don't overspend in the club and buy more drinks. And now, just some general advice for Freshers Week. Something that I wish I had known is how wild some people can be, and just how many people end up going home with each other or getting off with each other. And yeah, it's just quite a lot to take in. So just be aware that people get with people. Don't be surprised. The walls at university are generally very thin, so yeah, just don't be surprised. Another piece of advice is to do a food shop right at the beginning of Freshers Week before all the events and everything goes on, because throughout the Freshers Week you're going to be either hungover or just really exhausted or spending all your time trying to make friends. So it's unlikely that you're going to be going out to the shops a lot, or even having the energy to leave your room for some people. So I would definitely recommend going out and buying a food shop, preferably with a lot of fruit, so you have it in your fridge. I had a smoothie maker in my room, so to be able to have all the ingredients in my fridge, and I could just wake up in the next day and just make myself a green smoothie, and it really helped. Make sure you've got your favorite snacks and things in your room. For Oxford students, definitely stock up on things like pot noodle or things you can make with a kettle, because unless you have access to kitchen facilities, you're going to want to have some kind of food that you can make in your room. Or if you're catered, like new colleges in the evenings, obviously go to hall, you're very lucky, you don't have to cook. If you're not catered for and you do have to cook, I would definitely say during Freshers Week at least, make sure that you have a couple of frozen food items if you want, just because after a night out or the next day you might not feel like cooking. Or I'd say make a big dish at the beginning of the week and then freeze it, just so that throughout the week, if you are too lazy or too tired or too exhausted to make anything, you can just get it out of the freezer and just put it in the microwave. Another tip is, during Freshers Week you're going to be so busy and overwhelmed with everything that you might not find the time to speak to friends or family from home, or to keep them updated with how you're doing. One piece of advice I would have is, when you're getting ready to go out, like doing your makeup, just come out the shower, etc., eating your dinner, whatever, use that time to FaceTime your family or your friends. That way it means that you're not leaving them in the dark and just not communicating or contacting them, but you're still managing to find the time to stay in touch. Another tip is to leave your alcohol in your bedroom. Do not leave it in a communal kitchen or anywhere, because people are going to take that, just like people are going to take your snacks. So don't leave your crisps or your chocolate or your biscuits or whatever in the communal area, or even in the kitchen cupboards and things, because drunk people are going to find your food and they're going to eat it. So leave it in your bedroom where they can't access. If you're going to be set work during Freshers Week like you are at Oxbridge, then don't let that take you away from your Freshers Week. I did say this in my other video, but honestly, it's not worth it. It's not worth your first essay or problem sheet to just isolate yourself and be so nervous and worried and stressed about the work that you're not even going out and socializing and making friends. Don't kill yourself over this first piece of work. Don't try and make it perfect, because it's not going to be perfect. Another piece of advice I would say is that Freshers Week, the friends you make in Freshers Week are not necessarily going to be your friends for life that you find at university. Honestly, friends during Freshers Week, 9 times out of 10, the people you meet in Freshers Week are not going to be the friends that you actually hang around with, because Freshers Week, I'm not gonna lie to you guys, people are, I mean, even you will be, like I was, everyone is, you are trying to impress people, you are trying to put across the best possible version of you to other people. You do spend the whole first week making yourself up more, spending more time on your looks, thinking about what you're gonna wear, etc, etc. Like, it is a very high pressured week in terms of your appearance and how you come across to people and wanting to make friends. But the reality is, after the first couple of weeks, you'll start to see everyone's effort just diminishes and people's acts start falling away, because in Freshers Week, people do want to put across their best possible self, and it's not necessarily going to be their true self. So just bear that in mind during Freshers Week. The people you meet may well come out and be your best friends for life, but they also might not be, and there's scope to meet so many new people throughout the entire year. Freshers Week is just 1 week. It's also the first week of university where everyone's trying to make friends with everyone, and that is just not the reality at university afterwards. I think I've covered most things. If I've forgotten anything or there's any other pieces of advice that you want to let other people know, put it in the comment section below, so it can be a kind of resource video for people to have a look at and see what things they wish they had known about Freshers Week, and just general tips and advice for Freshers Week. There's this pressure on Freshers Week as well, because that's when you meet people for the first time and you really want to make friends and fit in. So yeah, I'll say don't put that much pressure on yourself. Freshers Week is not the be all and end all of university, and just try and enjoy it and have fun. Thank you guys so much for watching, and I hope to see you in my next video. Bye!